We're going to roll right into the G5 High Five round robin of the week. Last week we went 5-0, trying to keep that magic going. I won't bore our listeners right out of the gate here because I also like Wyoming -6.5. Everything that we went through. I will punch home one more time though. They did squeak past Montana State, but they're a quality FCS program. So I think that's providing at least 3 points of value here when you pair that with NIU's upset of Georgia Tech, who is playing with a backup quarterback. I like them there. I also like a team that's we got to pour one out for Randy Edsall. We were ready for this entire season to talk about Randy Edsall's, really complicated contract that had a bunch of Easter eggs in it for cash bonuses from like $500 to $10,000 for tackles for loss and onside kicks and all this fun. And then he goes ahead and quits on the team and he's done. This UConn team, I think if it could be summed up with a visual, it was their defensive coordinator asking for everyone to put their hands in the fourth quarter against Holy Cross and no one putting their hands up. This team's ready to quit. Purdue is ready to roll. -33.5. It stores. This UConn team, it's white flag time. I mean, they gave up 38 points to Holy Cross. Holy Cross hadn't scored that much against an FCS team in 2 years. So if you're ever looking to get right offensively, you want to face the Huskies. This Purdue team left points on the board against Oregon State. They did it without a running game. They still scored 30. Holy Cross ran for 226 yards last week. So I really see Purdue having a balanced offense. They're going to be explosive in the passing game with Plummer, going to David Bell early and often. They have a great tight end as well. The Boilermakers do. And then when I look at UConn, the only positive thing I could say before their week 0 game against Fresno State was Kevin Mensah was really their offensive bell cow. He was someone they could rely on. The kid's got 97 yards on 32 carries in 2 games. He's the whole offense. They have no offense. I like the Boilermakers here. And then I'm going to give the other 3 picks to Ianello this week. But just quick commentary, if you have any, on the Huskies.
Well, first I want to say Randy Edsall didn't quit on his team, Breeze. In fact, what he did was his team, I don't care what the score was, UConn had more sacks than Holy Cross. So he got that fat $2,000 bonus and he retired on an island somewhere. He's probably, down in Nantucket living on a boat. So good for Randy Edsall. He got his last sack bonus and he said, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be his boat. I think maybe it's a commercial fisherman for Long John Silver, but he's sneaking in, some rays under the sun and not having to sweat this potential blowout against Purdue. All right, let's round out this G5 High Five round robin of the week here with your 3 picks.
All right, for my first pick, I'm going to go with, you mentioned App State before. I'm not sold yet. I'm going Miami -8. Obviously Miami got waxed by Alabama, and I think that's kind of contributing to this line a little bit. Everyone gets waxed by Alabama. Alabama's probably, 14 points better than any team in the country. The one stat that really stood out about as bad as Miami looked, the one thing that kind of really solidified this pick for me was Miami managed 10 tackles for loss against that Alabama offensive line, which you could argue is the best in college football. And that's been the staple for Miami, the past couple of years. They were 12th in havoc last year. They were 21st in line yards. They get great pressure on the quarterback. And that's a problem for Chase Bryce. He looked great in week 1. He was 20 for 27, 259, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But when he was kept clean, he was 18 for 22. Under pressure, he completed just 40% of his passes, and that was when the interception came. Last year, when he was under pressure, he completed just 37.6% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. When Bryce is under pressure, he makes mistakes, and he's going to be under pressure from this Miami team all day. And this App State defense was really good against the pass last year, but like you mentioned, Holton Ahlers, he threw for 295 yards against them. So that's going to be a problem against Derek King. So I think Miami, they're back at home after a bad loss to Alabama. I think they bounce back. They just saw North Carolina lose, so that, now they have the edge in the ACC. So I like Miami to bounce back here. I'm not sold on Chase Bryce. I think he's going to make a lot of mistakes against this Miami defense. So give me the Hurricanes, wherever you can get it, on anything under 10. I think right now it's at around -8. It's kind of ticking up a little bit. I'd really take this to -10. So yeah, give me the Canes.
Yeah, my power rankings had this circled at 12, and really it was going to be a pass for me, anything under 10. So I was surprised, frankly, that it came in at that number. I think it's a market overreaction by Alabama, just smacking around Miami. But like you said, who wasn't really expecting that? That was what we should have seen coming, given the fact that that number ended up coalescing around 19, 20 for that point spread. So the market said Alabama's going to win big. They did. I don't see why that should have as big of an impact as it apparently is having on this game against App State. All right, what's next?
My next pick, I'm going to take Buffalo plus 13.5. Anybody who knows me knows I love this Buffalo team. I've loved them for years. I bet them pretty much every other week for the last 4 years, which has worked out great. They are the most profitable team in college football to bet on over the last 10 years. And yeah, I know Leopold's gone. That does make me a little nervous. That's why I didn't play him last week. But they kind of looked like a Lance Leopold team last year. Obviously Jarrett Patterson's gone, but Kevin Marks is still there. And Kevin Marks is probably the best backup running back in the country. He was fourth in the MAC in yards per game last year. He went for 105 yards behind Patterson. He had over 1,000 yards in 2019. And Kyle Van Treese is back at quarterback, and he may be the best average quarterback ever. He's not asked to do a lot. He's not asked to throw the ball a lot. But when he does, he just, does what he's supposed to. He gets the yardage he's supposed to. Buffalo was 15th in passing success rate last year. You don't think of them as a passing team, but when they throw it, they just, they get a 10-yard first down and they keep the chains moving. And they showed that in week 1. He was 15 of 19, 231 yards and a touchdown. That's all I need. They rushed for 312 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marks was great. Ron Cook was great. Their defense was the best in the MAC last year. They lose some guys. They lose Malcolm Kuntz at DN, but they do return Taylor Riggins, who was 2019 All-MAC DN. So that's kind of, an even wash in my mind. They still have 2020 All-MAC linebacker James Patterson, Jarrett Patterson's brother. They allowed just 97 yards week 1. I know it's against Wagner, so how much stock can you put into it? But to me, they looked like a Leopold team. They looked like the Buffalo team we've seen the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't really trust Nebraska. So give me Buffalo plus 13.5 against the Cornhuskers.
I mean, how many tickets do well-heeled Nebraska alumni have to buy for this sellout streak to continue? That's the bigger storyline to me than anything Nebraska is going to do on the field in this game, because at this point, with the body of work, we know what Adrian Martinez is. He's someone who's going to fail to make some of the simple pass completions. He's also going to dazzle with how he can extend some plays. I think this number is primed for a fourth quarter backdoor cover for Buffalo. I did try to needle you a little bit before the recording to say, hey, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and take Buffalo on the money line? Maybe a little sprinkle there. Let's make sure to keep the G5 high five pristine and keep the winning streak going. So I'm glad you're taking the points. All right, take us home here with your final pick and number 5 of the week for us.
For my last pick, this is, we're gonna love it or no. So we're getting a little cocky with it. We're feeling ourselves when we're betting on Temple, because I'm taking Temple, who stinks. Don't get me wrong, they stink. I have no stats written down to convince you they don't stink, because they stink. But they're playing Akron, who, in my opinion, is about 7 points worse than any team in the country not named UConn, UMass, or New Mexico State. So I'll lay the points with Temple. Obviously they got smoked by Rutgers, but even that game was a little misleading too. Temple turned the ball over 5 times. Rutgers still only had 365 total yards, which is not a lot for a team that put up 60 points. So this is one of those, hold your nose, check the Action Network app to follow along. Please don't watch this game. But I'm just going to take Temple money line just to be safe, because Akron's not winning this game. So Temple's only -7, so they're -270 on the money line. We'll throw that in here to compare with to help boost our other plays. Akron's not beating anyone, so give me Temple with -270 on the money line.